Hi everyone. You know, in any job, it's one thing to say how important every role is. But what about showing it? Sometimes we forget just how impactful our individual occupations can be. Over the next several months, we want to show you how integral your daily contributions are to the continued success of Madera companies. Before we start, I want to show you something. This is the Madera Map. After every episode, we'll track all our connections and see how every role plays into the next. It's no surprise we started out with the residents. Now, to kick us off, let's talk to our people on the ground at Madera at Left Bank. First things first, we wouldn't be anywhere without our residents. Let's talk about that.
I mean, we've all been apartment shopping, home shopping, whatever it may be, and it's stressful. And especially if you're moving out of state or just anything, it's just a super stressful situation. And if you can take kind of some of that stress and turn it into a positive where someone comes in and they're like, oh my gosh, I couldn't have done this without you. We have people who come in and they care about us, and that's what kind of made me stay. So it's not what made me get into the industry, but it's what made me stay in the industry. And it continues to make me stay every day, is just being able to, make an impact on people's lives and having so many people around where they can make an impact on mine as well.
Helping people isn't just medically and mentally. It's like we help them in a different way. We help someone have a home. We help people enjoy living here. We help people have fun. We help people, some people will want to come in and we build these relationships with them that they feel like they can come in, they'll bring their animal, and we'll say hi, and they can just sit down, kind of relax sometimes, and just, talk to us. We really take care of people in a sense that they feel essentially one with our property, like this is their home. They want to continue to live here. They want to renew. They want to talk to us. We build these relationships with these people every day by, doing what we do. It's amazing, actually.
I love getting to know the residents. I love getting to know who they are as people and not just a number on a door, or in some communities, the letter on the door. And so it's just, some of the people, they live in our communities and they don't have family. And so they really look at the office staff and the maintenance staff as a part of their families. And I loved getting to have that connection with them and be there for them. And then, resident events and getting to see everyone come together. And so I'm a people person. I love getting to talk to the people every day and getting to actually know them, not just, standing in a checkout line and you see them one time every once in a while and they go by. These are people you get to see every day and get to know them.
I mean, there's a lot of aspects to it. So we've seen people in, every walk of life and every stage of life, from first apartments to living in a house for 30 years and then coming to an apartment because their house is getting remote. We see everyone. And everyone has a different experience on it, because we've had people who walk in this office and they're like, I promised myself I'd never live in an apartment again. I'll change my mind. And then we have people who, are upset and they are wanting to come in, they want to vent about that, and we kind of stick up for each other. These girls are my family and the guys are my family. We all take care of each other and, look out for each other, and we all want each other's best interests at heart, and then that radiates out towards our residents. They're like, oh my gosh, y'all are all so happy to be around each other. Y'all don't look like y'all are like, oh, I have to go to work today. So as much as it sounds like cliche, but it really does show to the residents when we're happy to be here.
What's y'all's daily life look like?
Well, every day in the morning, first things, I like to sit down with my guys, talk about the day before. It was everything, it's okay. There was something pending, and we just go through our work quarters and try to make sure everything's all right. So sometimes we'll get some cookies or donuts or coffee, and we just sit down and talk a little bit about work.
Bueno, un make ready es mirar que todas las luces trabajen, que las alarmas de incendio trabajen, que los molinos para la comida trabajen, la lavadora de platos, que no haya liqueo en los zinc, que los toilets estén trabajando bien, las regaderas y el piso que esté bien, la carpeta todo bien, las cortinas todo bien. Es parte del trabajo.
Just because I'm on make ready, it doesn't mean that, okay, well, I'm just going to do make ready because I'm on make ready. You know, sometimes I even used to help with the trash too. So I pretty much work everywhere or any place that they need me to. And
I was told them do 100 and it's going to be 80. But if you do 80, it's going to be 60. If you do 60, it's going to be bad. So I'm talking about when you do things, do your best. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be good. But if you're trying to do good, it's going to be bad. So I always tell my guys, do your best. It might be something that's not going to be good, but it's going to be good because you do your best. You try your best. When you try your best, it's going to be good. But dirty people sometimes they just, it's okay, just leave it like that. No. So my God, we don't work here like that. No. Do your best. Do your best. No excuses. Do your best and it's going to be good. So that's, I think on my career, that's been my priority, trying to do my best. I'm not perfect, but I try. And then when you try, that makes a difference.
How I think of it is, yes, we are the face of the property. We're going to be first thing that people see, or the first person that someone's going to talk to here. So it's a chain reaction. They're not going to be comfortable enough with me if I'm, being grouchy or, if I don't, look presentable, they're going to be like, well, then what do your homes look like?
Bueno, una parte porque hay la necesidad de trabajar y necesito, pues, como le dije anteriormente, sostener a mi familia y no me gusta quedarme en la casa, me gusta trabajar, me gusta hacer bien el trabajo y que la gente quede satisfecha con mi trabajo.
Every day's different. Some days you're sending a whole bunch of leases. Some days you're touring for the full 8 hours. Some days you're doing little side projects, creating resident events. And then there's some days where you're just like doing damage control. So it's like every day's different, but getting stuff done, helping people out, those are things that like make you like go home and think, wow, I did great today,
How do you come together to serve not only your residents, but each other?
So say I lease an apartment. That now gives Michaela a file to approve. That improves Nikki's numbers on her calls. That makes, Ismail have to do a make ready. Louver has to schedule everything. Juan has to make keys. Gabby is going to hear from them because they call a million times, you know what I mean? So Gabby's going to hear from them. If Nikki's numbers are good, then, Casey's happy. If Casey's happy, then, and it just trickles.
Just because I'm in the leasing manager position, I am still learning. I've only been in this industry for almost 3 years. So, I haven't been in it that long. Camry's been in it for 5 years. Gabby's just starting, but someone that's almost green to someone that's been in the industry for a while, they both have a different take where I'm like, that's a great way to say something, or I didn't think about that. That's a great way to kind of like push someone to be like, hey, I know you don't want to tour this, but maybe I can just show you something like this, or certain things. But I always like to listen, and then sometimes I'll go on tour with them just to kind of see like, hey, what can I change in my tour path, or what can I learn? Or even if it's a learning lesson for them, I kind of like to take notes and be like, we can work on this, or wow, that was great. Can you teach me, or kind of like walk me through your steps on how to get someone to do certain things? So with like that, it's always a learning lesson with new tours and prospective residents.
And there's been some times where the person that's helping me, it's like, oh, what if we do this, this, and this? And it's like, oh, well, yeah, why didn't I think of that? So sometimes just having somebody else put in their opinion or their way of thinking helps you, because sometimes you might get a little stuck, and then their opinion is just whether it's from experience or from them just thinking a little bit differently, but it gets it done.
So we're really good at that. Like Louver, he's really great at kind of just helping us because we're on the side of we're speaking with the residents more often. They go to their homes, so sometimes they have interactions like that, but he'll kind of coach us to where, you know, if someone has a problem, he'll let us know like, hey, this will kind of help us to be able to help them a little bit better. You know, if something like maybe their AC goes out, just, you know, something that can happen. He's like, hey, if you can let them know to turn the AC off before we can get there, so that way it's not overworking, doesn't freeze, and makes a bigger problem. And then like with us on our end, we kind of know our residents a little bit more to help them excel in their home, or we kind of have conversations with them, or kind of like help them feel a little bit better.
Don't feel because you are a supervisor, just you're gonna say, go do this, go over there. No, go with them, be with them, work with them, teach them, and that will help you to be success and make your team happy. So feel like they're part of your family, because we're spending here sometimes more than 8 hours.
Well, before Juan was here, people from the temp came, right, to help. And the one thing that I tell them, that we have a good team. That's the first thing that I always tell them. We have a good team, because they be like, oh man, I come from this property where the lead didn't help, or the other guys didn't help, and they weren't a good team. So I always tell them, you know, the way that we all get along, that's really something that helps us a lot. Because when you don't get along with the people that you work with, sometimes coming to work every morning makes it a little bit hard. I guess I want to say it. Because you come to work, oh, I'm going to come and work with this or with that person. But when you come to work every morning and you know who you're going to work with and you know what you're going to do, then you always come like, I guess you're always happy, you know.
I don't worry about going on vacation or not being in the office for whatever reason, because I know that we've worked together long enough, and there's really not any time that I've ever been somewhere where they couldn't call me. But I know that there's times where they don't call me. On Friday, one of my girls got married, and I left 2 of my newer office team members in the office because we had to leave somebody in the office. So a couple of us went to the wedding and a couple of us had to stay. But I told them, I said, I'm not worried about leaving you guys, because I know you guys know what to do. They have good judgment and they make the good calls. And they know that if I get back and it wasn't the best call to make, that we'll talk through it and we'll know for next time, because you do learn from mistake.
It's the same thing every day, but it's different every day. Like, you have the same job description every day, of course, but there's new people, there's new conflicts to resolve. There's something new within the same thing every day. And so I kind of like the structure, but kind of like having something new within that structure every day.
So we have moved a lot of people up into to different positions that have been here. My leasing manager that was here since we took over Left Bank, she recently just got promoted to assistant manager at CERT. And that was due to, her just learning cross-training, learning the assistance role, the different responsibilities that she had here. The assistants that I had in here that were good, that they trained her on different things that she needed to do. And then from there, we were able to promote one of my leasing agents to the leasing manager position. We didn't have to go to the outside because we're training from the inside. So when we have these opportunities come up, they get to grow in their career and in their positions, and they get to move up because they all have goals. They all want to be a regional or the VP or something, they all have goals that they want to accomplish. And so we're able, and normally it's this time of year, like we're in slow season right now. So this is when we will start doing some work and having people pulling some different roles, and maybe having one of our leasing agents posting rent for the day or for the month and taking on that role. So that way they do know. And when there is an opportunity that comes available for promotion, for growth for them, I can go, hey, this person's ready to go.
So when the going gets tough, how do you stick together?
Last year, man, the weather, fire sprinklers busted. I was on PTO. And then one of my guys was on call, and then he called me. I was on site because I live here, and then I was speaking to leave. I was like maybe 5 minutes away from the property. And then he called me, hey, we have an emergency. What's going on? Fire department's here already because pipe busted for the sprinklers. Oh man, okay. And came back and we take care of that issue. And then I left. And then 30 minutes later, he called me again. Hey, we have another one. So I have to come back again, stop what I was doing. And then I have to stay here with him until 12 a.m. in the morning. So it was, it was a challenge because residents have some, damage inside the apartments. We were running everywhere trying to get some keys for open the doors, make sure, about the damage, notify the residents. But, then there was another guy live here and then he came to help us. So we, but that was a challenge for sure, but our priority always take care of the resident.
There were days where we did not have access to our buildings. There were days where our residents could not get inside. There were days where people would come in right in the face screaming at you, saying, you don't know how you're doing, you don't know your job, what is wrong with you? Why would you do this? You locked us out, I'm suing you. And you're like, I'm sorry you feel that way. You have to keep a smile on your face. That is one of the harder things. I mean, you still have the occasional, how do I professionally say it? Unique resident. Madera's watching this, so all of you know what I'm talking about that have been on the property side. There's going to be someone who comes in and they're going to yell at you and they're going to be upset about it, and there is nothing that you can say to them because they just have to express how they're feeling. Those aren't the best days, you know what I mean? But then you have a great team behind you that's like, you can't do that. You have to calmly talk to us, stuff like that. They support you. And then, that person leaves either feeling better or just not yelling anymore. And, your team's there to be like, are you okay? Do you need anything? Stuff like that.
That's one of the things, you get to know people because sometimes at first you think, oh, well, he's mad or he's mad at you or whatever, But at the end of the day, when you finish the work order and you did the work for them the right way, you get to talk to them and you get to know them. That you get to know that part of them that you thought didn't exist, Because when you meet them at first, sometimes they're mad, but when you do the work order and you do everything good for them, they know exactly what was done. And then the other side, the good side of them, they'll come to you. And then you get to talk to them and get to react with them, That's something that I like.
Him and I we don't always see eye to eye. And sometimes we have to have those really difficult conversations on why I think this should be this way, or he's like, well, I think it should be this way. But we always seem to come up with a happy medium that we can both live with. And like I said, there's sometimes where he might go a whole day without talking to me because he's upset about some decision I made. But then he's usually like, you were right, or I'm like, you were right. We can admit to our faults, and we can admit when you guys know I'm talking about him. He just walked in here and waved at me. I don't know. I think it's just really important that the team sees that as well, that they see that we support each other.
We always say, we got this, me and Nikki, because the previous property, it was a challenge there too. Plumbing, AC, it was a huge challenge over there. And you know what, also, I feel lucky because I have a good manager, Nikki. Because I working with other managers before, not on Madera, because I've been with Madera over 6 years. I always been working with Nikki. When I started here on this property, it was a different manager, but he was here for 2 months. And then Nikki came back to this property. But I think that's also something very important. Good relation, good communication with the manager and the lead, resident supervisor. When that things work good, everything goes smooth. But always I go to her office and sit down, talk, and say, hey, we got this. We got it. We can do this. We got this. And yeah, we made it.
Do you have any parting words?
Christ welcomes everybody. Source Madera welcomes everybody to the family, you know, to get to know each other, to work together as a team. And if I get to help everybody, whatever that I can, you know, with little things, not only with the work orders or whatever that I can help with, you know, that's one of the things that motivates to come to work every day, because you get to help people. Maybe not as a big, you know, but with little things, you know, like you can make a difference, I think.
Some advice I would give someone is to be themselves, because, you know, people can pick up on that. They can pick up on you being genuine. They can pick up on, you know, you trying to fake it. I would always say just to be yourself. Don't take anything personal, you know, be there for your residents, because that's what you are there for. You know, someone once told me that if you don't like your position, you know, no hard feelings, but don't force it, because we are here to help people. We're here for the residents. So if you are not here for that, you know, that would be my advice, just to take it somewhere else. But to always be yourself.
Piensen pues en trabajar y progresar y ser alguien en la vida, no nada más vivir la vida al aventón, o sea, sin sentido, pues, que tenemos que trabajar, sostener la familia y salir adelante. Eso le diría yo a alguien que yo conozca o que quiero que salga adelante.
Your relationship will grow with these people. They're awesome. They really are. And you just learn to all work together. We all take the time to talk with each other and, you know, just make sure that everything's good and that, you know, we're all doing what we need to do and, you know, just all trying to be our best.
As much as it seems like I'm kind of like the small fish, I'm at the bottom of the food chain, whatever you might think it is, what I do affects all the way up to the big guy, you know what I mean? And then vice versa, like everything Dave does, he has an idea and it trickles down, or Casey has an idea and it trickles down. And so we all affect each other. Because like if I'm not leasing, then Nikki gets a call. And if Nikki gets a call, she talks to Michaela. If Michaela gets an email, she has to talk to me. And then, you know, if Nikki's getting a call, that means marketing's like, hey, we're doing all these things for you. Why is this not working? Like, what's going on here? You're getting this many leads, you know, so everything that I do affects everyone. Because at the end of the day, we're the people who get the residents in, and none of us are anything without the residents. Like, they're kind of the big fish around here, because none of us have jobs without them. So I don't think my job's a small job. It's a big job, and my job's a big job. Michaela's job's a big job. Nikki, everyone has a big job. Even like, well, we don't have them anymore, but when we had porters, like they had a big job, because I can't lease if my grounds look like a mess. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no small job in property management, because we are all so dependent on each other. And like when one of us is gone, you can feel it. You know what I mean? Because you're picking up other stuff. Like, no, Gabby's out for the day. I'm helping her applicants. You know, Louver's out for the day. Andrew's over there scheduling stuff. I'm having to talk to 3 other people, because I'm like, Louver's usually my go-to guy. Where is he at? I need him. So we all have a really big impact on the property, the company, the residents, and so we all affect each other every day.
I think Camry said it best. We all affect each other every day, down to the last email, the last text, the wave goodbye at the end of the day. And that's what this series is all about. It's not about who you report to, it's about who you affect. Remember that map? It started out with just the residents, but look at it now. We've made all these connections in just the first episode. In our next episode, we'll see how the daily decisions on property travel not only vertically within Madera, but laterally across companies with Quext. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.